Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe for multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines and many other sectors.
In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-Risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today television. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shail Bhatnagar. Well, New Year's Day on the stock markets was turning out just to be perfect start to 2024. The Indian equities that were hoping for record highs, they did see record high levels also getting made, 21,834 on the Nifty. However, the index did see a steep fall soon after from these record levels due to profit booking. Now, should you brace for more volatility at these record levels is the big question, and we'll answer all of those questions for you in this special session. But first up, the top headlines this hour. The Nifty and the major blue chips are likely to be in a consolidation zone on Tuesday as investors digest a stunning rally and work the math on valuations ahead of third quarterly results. While investors get involved with valuations, traders continue to rejoice strong momentum, rising participation and good price action in cash counters such as Vodafone Idea, Yes Bank and government PSUs. Extreme caution is advised. Stop losses are necessary. Very good morning to all our viewers and good morning to you, Shail, as well. Well, on day one, we of course saw that the Nifty started out on a high note, but then we did see some extreme volatility around those record highs as well. So the big question now, Shail, is this a signal of chances of another round of downward correction? Should one brace for that? Or should one continue to focus on these small ticket stocks that continue to rise despite stunning rally of the past?
So, a very warm good morning to all who are watching us on Market Today. Sakshi, good morning to you as well. Mangalwar hai to Mangal hoga hi, but that really doesn't mean that Mangal will happen on the long side. My understanding is that, we've had enough of this very sharp rally that you've seen on the Nifty. And yesterday, at least in stock, in index futures, we had achieved the level of 22,000 as far as the Nifty is concerned. And from now on, my understanding is that the risk-reward ratio that you see on the Nifty is no longer as much in favor of bulls as it was in October, November, December. And if you look at very closely this Nifty's chart in front of you, the low for the last 3 days is 21,680, 21,677 and 21,678. Now there are two ways to look at it. One, the lows are being tested, and should they hold, then obviously the Nifty will move ahead. But my understanding is that we've done about 8.2% in December and about 5% in November. So put together, that's about 13 percentage points on the Nifty in the last 2 months. And at this point of time, the risk reward is no longer so much in favor of bulls that you continue to buy the dip. So as far as Nifty is concerned, I would imagine that we'll have a nice consolidative phase, and much will depend upon how the third quarter earnings start coming in. The first one is on November 11th. Let's see, I'm so sorry, January 11th. Let's see how that pans out, and only then will you see some kind of an uptick that we've already enjoyed for so long. Now, when you look at the options chain, what is really interesting is that 21,610, 21,630 are strong support zones as far as they continue to hold, and the upside is totally limited, 21,830, 21,860. So as I have said, there is no juice left as far as the upside is concerned on the Nifty. And if the index goes below 21,610, Sakshi, what's really interesting is that you've seen in the option chart that 21,550, 21,500 have sort of opened up, at least on Nifty options chain, as far as this particular index is concerned. But going forward, I would imagine that it's the third quarter earnings that will decide the trend, and those are a bit away. So the first one, Infosys and TCS, will be on January 11th. Let's see what happens. But cash stocks continue to offer better momentum, better price, and better volume action. Sakshi.
Okay, got that. Now, as far as the Nifty Bank is concerned, Shail, we did see, of course, the sell-off happened in the last few minutes of the trade. The Nifty Bank was already making a dash towards 48,500 mark before witnessing that 200-point correction that we saw. However,
yes,
of course, we managed to shut shop at 48,000 mark, still about 400 points away from the previous record high. What does one do here? Because the heavyweight banks, HDFC Bank, is still not participating full throttle.
So, Sakshi, a cursory look at the Nifty Bank chart will tell you that the last 3 days have been, slipping from the highs of about 48,700 to where we are, 48,250. This is visible across the chart, and it's closed below the 5 EMA, which is, not problematic for the bulls, but it makes the bears a little greedy. And again, a fantastic rally in December. We've seen the index rise more than 8%, a 3% rise in November. So all put together, a 12% rise in November and December, and that has skewed the risk reward out of favor for bulls. I don't know whether bears are getting welcomed or not, but this is what the thing is. And there is hardly any activity that you see in Axis, in Kotak, in ICICI Bank. Even HDFC Bank was flat yesterday. So the top flight private sector banks that account for the majority of the weightage of the Bank Nifty are pretty much quiet. It's only the PSU banking outfits which are showing very strong traction on the long side. You've seen the Nifty PSU banking index yesterday. Out of 12, 11 ended in positive territory, and the lone loser was State Bank of India, which is the largest public sector bank. So in fact, the largest bank. So that's what I'm trying to say, that blue chips and front lines are undergoing a phase of consolidation. Volume, price, and action are seen in lower ticket, higher beta items, and that is why you see the likes of PNB, Bank of Baroda, record high, PNB 7-year high, Canara Bank 6-year high. These are the smaller PSU banks that are attracting trader and investor frenzy. And again, like I said, caution needs to be observed. You've said it in your headline that stop loss is your biggest friend, and caution needs to be exercised at current levels. For the Bank Nifty itself, 47,880, 47,930 are zones of support till they hold, and the upside is 48,530, which is practically there. We are already at 48,230, and we've already tested 48,530 and come back from that. So higher levels are not supporting any kind of bullish activity, and you just see selling coming in. Last half hour selling was pretty strong yesterday, Sakshi.
Yes, absolutely. In the F&O space, Shail, are there any stocks that you would be watching? I remember, despite the 250% kind of a surge on REC and PFC, they continue to surge higher even on the day one of 2024. Any particular stocks that you will be watching out for?
Sakshi, the usual favorites. I'll concentrate the energies on auto stocks only.
Okay.
Remember, auto was a theme we flagged out yesterday before markets opened, and even today, two stocks, Tata Motors, already at record high. The volume sales in December have exceeded analyst predictions. So at 70,000 units, they are more than 50,000 to 55,000 that were sort of estimated. As also TVS Motors unit sales totaling 3.01 lakh crores, 3.01 lakh units. This is about 11,000 more than what was estimated, 2 lakh 90,000, 2 lakh 92,000. So these are the two stocks that I'm watching. And also the government of India has sort of improved the PLI scheme. They have extended the date for auto ancillaries. Therefore, you know, the usual suspects, Bharat Forge, Motherson Sumi in particular in the F&O space, and in the wider space you have Sona Comstar, you have the Munjal twins doing phenomenally well. So these are 4 or 5 stocks in the futures and cash markets. And also the government of India has increased windfall tax on crude oil production. Therefore, ONGC and Oil India will be under pressure. Sakshi.
All right, auto ancillary pack again in focus in today's trade. Let's also look at what the global markets have been indicating to us. The Asia Pacific markets have opened mixed on the first day of the year. They were shut yesterday. US markets also shut. The overnight future cues actually from the US suggested a flattish opening. But with the official data coming in from China over the weekend highlighting a deepening contraction in its manufacturing sector, is something that is going to weigh on the Asian markets. And you can see the Nikkei down by 0.5%, Hang Seng down by 0.2%. It's the Kospi that's up, however, 1.6% higher, and Shanghai 0.6% higher in trade as well. Now, as far as the GIFT Nifty is concerned, it's indicating a slightly positive start to the broader index of Sensex and the Nifty of about 20 odd points. As far as flows are concerned, the foreign institutional investors were sellers yesterday. 855 crore rupees were sold by them. And domestic institutional investors purchased 410 crores worth of stocks on January 1st as well. We're now joined by our guests. So let's welcome Vineet Bulinshkar, Head of Research at Ventura Securities, with us now. Very good morning, Vineet, to you, and a Happy New Year as well. We've discussed so many wide varieties of stocks, sectors, themes all across 2023. At the beginning of the new year, what are you betting big on in terms of the top sectoral watch, and what would your call be on the markets as well? As are we headed for another year of positive returns?
See, having seen such a large rally happen in the month of December, we are ripe for a correction anytime that happens. But it's only going to be a technical correction in the larger trend, which is going up. And, there are several levers of growth which are there existing. So, if I were just to point out the two-wheeler space, which was not doing that great, in the past, has turned around and clocked 25% growth. Now, 25% growth YOY is very, very big. So we have seen all those stocks move up. Look at the public sector banks. They're moving up very, very gradually. And, they're just a shade higher than their book values. And if you see their discounts to the large cap stocks, they're significant. HDFC Bank is waiting for results from the third quarter Qs. I think once the third quarter numbers, if the investors get comfort, should see the stock rallying, they would be looking more for the body language. And to my mind, HDFC is the stock which is headed for 2100 to 2300 in the next 6 months. Axis Bank has been a dark horse, and it has got one of the best earnings growth story among the private banks. So we like that stock also a lot. If you look at the consumption space, Hindustan Lever has just started moving up, and with the oil prices cooling off and diesel and petrol, expected to see a kind of cut, given the fact that, we've seen fossil fuel energy prices come off. I think we are going to see these, the consumption story as well as the, the oil stocks continue to rally, because the oil stocks are no longer looked on as fossil fuel stocks, but they're more looked as energy fuel stocks, which are undergoing a transient change towards green fuels. So all these factors, and if you see the HP BPCL multiples, they are three times. So I think there's a long way to go. PSU banks, long way to go. index heavyweights like HUL, ITC, uh, HDFC Bank, long way to go. Reliance also can move up. So while there can be a technical correction, I believe that there is a substantial leadership still pending, which can hold the markets up and surprise investors to a large extent.
A very good morning to you, Vineet. You've mentioned your preference for Axis Bank. Anything else that catches your fancy when it comes to mid caps, small caps, or even large caps? And a very happy new year.
So happy New Year to you and to all our guests who are listening in. Uh, I believe that SBI, Bharat Electric Heavy Electricals is has I've been mentioning it to you all the way from 100. We are now at 200, and we are possibly headed to much higher, given the fact that the second quarter is going to be significantly positive. We also like BEL, which has been flashed on a screen. That stock has started moving up. Uh, in the look at Ambuja, which has not moved up, that is due for a rating. Look at Deepak Fertilizers. I think that is a very interesting and a very strong stock to look at, because FY25 they will start production of their expanded capacities in TAN. So this is one stock. And look at the fertilizer stories; they're all looking good. Coromandel fertilizer, especially when it is transforming to a specialty chemicals play, it can turn out to be a multi-bagger. So while there can be concerns in the market, there are so many pockets which are moving in this market that trying to call a top in this market can be precarious.
Okay.
Yes. What's really interesting is how the fertilizer space moved yesterday, Vineet. We've seen a record move coming on GNFC. Of course, that's primarily also due to the buyback that's been announced. But public sector enterprises, RCF, FACT, National Fertilizers, within the private space, as you very rightly mentioned, Coromandel, Khaitan Chemicals. What's really driving this underlying momentum as far as fertilizer stocks and sector is concerned, Vineet?
Uh, I simply believe that it is more of a broad-based rally fanning out. Stocks getting into money is now chasing relatively cheaper valuations where the risk is low, given the fact that the some of the star performers of 23 have really been leveraged very high. So I believe that we are going to see these stocks, and they're quasi chemical, specialty chemical kind of. So you take GNFC, you talk about deeper fertilizers, and there's a lot of transition to also the fact that we are getting those newer versions of urea that are coming in. So the working capital cycles are going to be lower, cost of production is going to be lower. So I believe all these things are contributing to the fact that we should see the fertilizers sector perform very strongly.
Right. Vineet, could you throw a little bit light on what your thought is as far as the entire auto and auto ancillary pack is concerned? Auto sales numbers came in yesterday without much excitement, so nothing really happening on the OEM space as far, but the auto ancillary space is looking positive to a lot of analysts who are now increasing their targets there on smaller ticket stocks, Samvardhan Motherson Sumi, Sona Comstar, Exide Batteries. What is your own sense as far as the auto and auto ancillary pack is concerned? How will they move in this new year?
So I think Sona BLW will move very strongly, especially the ones who are EV agnostic will do really well. So we are talking of Samvardhan, Motherson Sumi. We are talking of the Minda Corp and Minda Uno Minda. These are some of the stocks that we track, and we have our coverage on these stocks. So we believe these are the stocks that will do well. And while we know we are saying that the autos did not see some exciting numbers, I just pointed out to you that retail sales of two wheelers were exceptionally good. And if you see the numbers of Tata Motors were also beyond expectation. M&M also sold very well. And if you see Maruti, although the numbers look optically weak, you're seeing a shift in consumption pattern. They sold more SUVs than they sold the smaller cars. So there is no dearth of growth in the auto stories. And with the global environment also opening up, new bus orders being given, we have a kind of a runway to the number of buses that will be produced in the next 8 years. Uh, just like the government has announced its plans for the railway expansion, here we are seeing a runway open up for the CV space for the electric buses that need to be introduced, or maybe the hydrogen buses. And if you talk of Bharat Forge, look at the kind of the 155 guns that potentially orders that they could land up. So we are seeing the entire auto sector as well as the auto ancillary space become get the global markets as their playground, and hence we will see all these stocks continue to do very well.
Right. All right. What we'll do, Vineet, is we'll take a very, very short break. When we return, we will tell you all the pre-market opening action. Stay with us.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe for multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines, and many other sectors.
In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today.
Welcome back. We all are joining together on markets today on Tuesday, what is likely to be a flat trade as far as the main indices are concerned, but a lot of hectic activity that's seen in government PSUs, in second-rank private public sector banks, as also across the board in defense and railway. Vineet, coming back to you. Yesterday we saw the return of railway stocks as far as traders are concerned on the long side. Strong momentum seen in Railtel, Ircon, IRFC. But it was IRCTC that caught the fancy of traders and investors. A stock that has done pretty much next to nothing as far as 2023 was concerned. Would you have a view on IRCTC?
So IRCTC has been a laggard in spite of the fact that it's practically the monopoly player if you want to travel by rail, and they're getting into other segments. So they're expanding their canvas, and while they have not even satiated their own, the growth in their own railway booking business, I think moving into other spaces is, talking about monetizing their latent potential, given the fact that they have a huge customer base, which I think only probably Geo can compare with. And the IRCTC database would actually be catering to the low end of the market of the democracy. So given these facts, I think IRCTC is in a veritable position to monetize its way in ways that they can imagine in doing it. And so we have to not look at it purely from the fact that what its existing businesses are. We need to actually evaluate what is the potential that the stock can do. And the government has been, and with the corporate has also been very savvy with doing tie-ups with Zomato, and forming alliances in water, in
Right,
other
sir.
areas of booking, etc.
Okay, what we'll do is a very quick look on the pre-open side. The markets have opened. The Nifty again in an uptick. Remember, it had opened simultaneously higher yesterday as well. You have a 71-point uptick, 21,813. It's trying to claw back the last half an hour of losses that it had made on Monday. Let's look at stocks which are contributing to this one. Again, I'll start the day with Tata Motors, 1.2% higher. Now a fresh digit here, 800 in front of you. Infosys is in the green, 1554, 0.2% higher. I want to see what Reliance is doing. A strong opening, 0.3% higher, 25.99, and HDFC Bank flat, 16.99. How about the two other private sector banks? Axis Bank flat, 1098. ICICI Bank 1000 flat again. Today's big boy will be Bajaj Finance. Remember, it's also the Finance Nifty's weekly expiry today, so we'll keep an eye out on Bajaj Finance for you. It's opening 0.5% higher, 73.40 in front of you. Within the FNO space, you have Coal India is the top gainer, 3.5% higher, 394. The company came up with its monthly performance for December, and the numbers are tepid, but that's it. BHEL 205, rally continues, 3.5%. What else is sticking? JSW Steel. Remember, Jeffries has come out with a report on metals, increasing the target on JSW Steel, Hindustan, Hindalco, as also Coal India. So JSW Steel in the thick of trade. What else is clicking? 1% higher on Nestle, but that's moving on an impending stock split, 27,650. We'll let the Nifty prices settle. At the moment, 21,791, 500. And take this opportunity to welcome Hemant Kapadia. A very good morning to you, sir, and a happy new year. How do you feel the sentiment on Dalal Street on the second day of 2024, sir?
A very good morning to you, Mr. Bhatnagar. A very good morning to you, Sakshi Batra, and to all your viewers. Well, everything is fine, but one gets the feeling that a little bit of heaviness seems to have crept in. The way I see it, the Bank Nifty is slightly overbought, and just one small thing. I mean, the daily MACD gave us sell on 21st of December. We still haven't given a buy. So I would say maybe in the next couple of days, if we don't make new highs as far as the Bank Nifty is concerned, we're at 42,234. We need to close over 48,600. That happens, everything is hunky-dory, it's all good. And in the next 2 days, we don't do that, chances are that we could slip into a correction. So I would stay cautious. It's better to be stock specific. We've had a phenomenal move, and I don't think history is on our side. If I remember correctly, out of last 16 Januaries, 12 have been negative. So I would be slightly cautious. Things are getting just okay. The VIX was 16.5, which come to sub 15. But if it starts creeping up again, I would say we are in a spot of bother. So at the not sounding too bearish, but I would be cautious.
Cautious at this level. A very good morning to you, Mr. Kapadia, and Happy New Year to you as well. Tell us your top picks at this hour. Would you go with some stock picks on the long side or the short side now in the markets?
Despite my bearish start in the morning, Ms. Batra, I am not quite sure of the impending decline which I foresee. But why I also, it's not an excuse, but why I'm telling you, this is the second day of the week. So whatever signals that I'm seeing are too short term. If these remain at the end of the week, yes, I would have more conviction in telling you, yes, let's short the market. But it's just the first trading day of the week and it's too early to jump to a conclusion. Having said that, I believe that Birlasoft is something which looks overbought and it slipped into a corrective phase. And I'm saying this despite Infosys TCS results around the corner. So Birlasoft has been down for 5 trading sessions. We've had a superb up move. Indicators have given a crossover sell. So on a bounce, small bounce, I would say sell call on Birlasoft. This looks very interesting from a short position. If I were to go long, I think Balrampur Chini is a stock which looks interesting because we've had a very smart OI addition yesterday, 19.5%. But I cannot give this as a buy because it's already in the FNO band. I mean, it's a cash market buy, but I mean, if it comes into the ban list in the FNO, the momentum takes a hit. But otherwise, 19.5% long build up yesterday looks good. But so I would say maybe something like a Laurus Labs is looking interesting. But the thing is, we're at 433. We need a weekly closing above 440, which we haven't done since November 22. So it's been more than a year. But the setup in Laurus Lab is quite positive, and a close above 440 should trigger off a 5-7% upside. So the way I see it, a short on Birla Soft and a long on Laurus Lab, Sakshi. Yeah.
Okay, got those picks. Right. Mr. Kapadia, I also wanted to take your view since you are talking about a lot of stock picks right here on the auto space. We've been discussing a lot with Vineet also. So, what is your own stance on the auto and the auto ancillary pack right now? Any particular stocks that are coming up on your radar, sir?
Well, frankly speaking, everything looks nice, but everything looks technically rich. Okay, Tata Motors has been a favorite, but it's had a beautiful move. So without a correction, I mean, I believe over a period of time, this is a four-figure stock in the calendar year of 2024 itself. But
Okay.
current, I would be slightly reticent about recommending a fresh long. There is absolutely no recommendation. Give a short, even something like a Eicher Motors, which is stagnated a bit, looks promising. Why I'm saying promising is this is the fifth week. Okay, this is the beginning of the week. The fifth week where it's corrective. I mean, the stocks have had a blowout rally. So this is one thing which is corrective. We are at 4,000. At 3,900, I would have a contra buy call on Eicher Motors because the setup is positive. The medium to long term charts clearly indicate an up move. But in a market where corrections are hard to come by at the moment, we've had a 4 week correction. So this looks a nice time price retracement which can be bought into on a small decline.
Okay. Let's just pay a 1 minute attention on how pre-open rates have settled, and then have this conversation extended with Hemen. The Nifty settled flat, 9 points higher, 21,751. What's buzzing here as far as the main index is concerned? Again, Tata Motors. I love the phrase technically rich. We'll add that to our list of stocks and phrases to offer. 1.25% higher, 800.50. What else is in the green? ITC 470, 0.4% higher. We'll take Hemen Kapadia's view on this one as well. And of course, HDFC Bank opening flat. There's nothing much to talk about when it comes to how the heavyweights have settled. They are flat to down. Okay, what's moving in the PSU space? BHEL 2.45% higher, 203. Coal India is an interesting bet, 1.5% higher, 387. And let's just leave it to that, because it's no point taking repeated views on IREDA, on IRFC, on RVNL, because they are the ones that are actually moving. What about defense? BEL 0.5% higher, and what about BDL 0.5% higher? How about very high beta? What's that doing? Okay, there is again BHEL, Honasa 1% higher, 431. Okay, let's get Hemen Kapadia and Vineet back into the conversation. Hemen, coming to you first. Your view on public sector banks, PNB, Bank of Baroda, Canara taking it away. Anything you like in the third rung of the PSU banking sector which might start exploding now?
Okay, Mr. Bhatnagar, that's a nice question. Third rung. So I'm not sure these quantify the third rung, but something like a central bank or a UCO bank look interesting. We've had a time price retracement. A base formation is currently underway as far as UCO bank is concerned. And if I go to look at central bank, it's relatively stronger than UCO bank, but the setup is positive. And yes, we've been corrective for 4 months. So I think it's at a decent time price retracement. So Central better and UCO would follow that. So both of these stocks in the third round would quantify as, I wouldn't say a very sharp move, but yeah, possibly of the onset of an move, because we've seen a 4 month correction over time.
Okay. Just for all our wider audience to understand what are we talking, that, it's the first rung of the PSU banks would be the largest bank, say SBI. Second rung would have Canara Bank, Bank of Baroda, Punjab National Bank. And the third rung would have the rest of the PSU banks, the smaller ticket ones, say the Indian Overseas Bank, Central Bank of India, J&K Bank, UCO Bank. These are the third rung companies, and that's what Mr. Kapadia is mentioning right now. All right, Vineet, let me bring you in the conversation as well. We've been discussing PSU banks. How are you looking at this space now after the stunning rally that we've already seen in 2023? Also, within the entire PSU basket, the 2023 was a year of re-rating. Do you think that this is the time to take away profits from the table, or do you think the rally is just getting started?
Absolutely not. I think it's the time to add to the SBI investments and PSU investments. And I think SBI is a very, very good stock to buy into. It's the largest bank, growing at 12 to 13%, you know, putting in the highest profits in the country. And valuations are absolutely cheap. It's at 1.1 times book FY26. This includes the valuations of its subsidiary banks. We believe that the valuation should be somewhere around 1.7, 1.8 times, justifying the high ROE that it has declared. And, there's a long way to go. And we're really surprised that it has been a stark underperformer over the last 1 year. I think that catch-up play needs to happen. If I were to try to rationalize why this has been happening, so, if you step back 20 years and try to find out those years when SBI declared its best years, that time the ROA never crossed 1.1. Okay. And we are there. So I think the market is trying to guesstimate whether, there's a peak in its earning cycle. We believe through our research that, we're just getting started and we have all the parameters present in the country to keep growing. So I believe SBI should do really well going ahead.
Right.
Okay, let's again watch stock prices, because that is what our intention is as far as markets are concerned. Hemant, to you, metal has been a very, very sharp outperformer over the last 1 month or so. Any metal picks that you'd like to sort of discuss? Of course, the public sector basket is abuzz with gains. Nalco, NMDC, Hindustan Copper, Coal India. Pick what you may, all of them have posted strong double-digit gains. Your picks as far as this shining sector is concerned?
Well, metals seem to have turned diamonds, at least for the past time. I don't think that has changed, but the stocks that I like, Mr. Bhatnagar, are I used to like. Why I'm saying used to, because Hindustan Copper has been a favorite, looks great. But the thing is, looking at the run-up, I am not sure if I would recommend it now. It looks, I mean, it's really shot through the roof. On a decline, Hindustan Copper would be nice. The way I see it, even NMDC, okay, once again, it's a late in the day, but NMDC gave a 10-year breakout at 150, we are at 230. So that also, frankly speaking, I wouldn't say missed the bus, but I mean, we probably haven't we didn't speak about it. I think one stock which relatively, I would go for something like a JSW Steel, a 24-month consolidation, a breakout, cool off, and now we posted a new all-time high again. So JSW Steel is something which I like. Yes, on a decline, a SAIL or Tata Steel or a Hindustan Copper or an NDC would be great. But as of now, currently, I'd say JSW Steel.
Right. We'll start our opening session. The Nifty is 36 points lower on the second day of 2024. A bit of a consolidation in profit booking happening, 21,700 in front of you. Again, a 123-point cut on the Nifty Bank, 48,111. Remember, this is the selling of the last half an hour, which seems to have continued on the next day. Okay, Sakshi, the first thing that comes to my mind is that 9 out of 10 index heavyweights are in the red. It's only and only Tata Motors 1.5% higher, 802, fresh high, very strong numbers coming in as far as volume sales for December are concerned. Okay, Reliance flat, 2591, at least it's a green tick. How about HDFC Bank, 1696, again flat. How about Infosys, 0.5% lower, 1544. Okay, how about the other two private sector banks? ICICI Bank 0.5% lower, 995. Axis 0.5% lower, 1092. What else is ticking? I'd like to watch ITC. Remember, there is a long trade on this initiated by Nilesh Jain at 470. At the moment, giving an opportunity at 467.80. At the moment, flat. Okay, let's shift focus to FNO very, very quickly. At the moment, it's BHEL 1.7% higher, 20170. Lupin taking it away, 1353. So it's the defensive sectors that are coming into play. Pharma space 3.25% higher, Lupin. I also see Laurus Labs 436, 0.5% higher. I also see Syngene 718, 1.6% higher. Aurobindo Pharma 1090, a percent higher. Zydus Life. It's going to be a pharma day today. Let's see what else is buzzing amongst the most active. That will give you a clue where markets are headed. BHEL taking it away, 20170, 1.8% higher, 104. You have HDFC and Tata Motors there. Idea Cellular again bustling with gains, 3.5% higher as far as prices are concerned, 1760 for you. National Aluminium profit booking 1.9% higher, 133.80. Let's look at NSE 500 immediately. The Nifty is still down 22, 21, 720. Okay, the top gainers in NSE 500 as far as prices are concerned, all cargo logistics, 90 rupees, 9% higher. Lemon Tree, there's a research report and a rising target of 150 there, 4% higher, 123.60. You have then BSE 2.6% higher, 22.63. Fairly strong, decent kind of an opening. High beta, low ticket is clicking fairly well. Let's get Hemen Kapadia into the conversation. The first view on BHEL to you, sir.
I believe we are set for higher levels, but currently I would once again wouldn't recommend, but yeah, we are heading towards 235 to 40, but it's not a very near term sort of a.
Okay. Right. Sir, let me just take your view on two stocks. One is Kernex Micro, 5% higher. It's got an order worth 109 crores from South Central Railway. And the other one is All Cargo Logistics that has been continuously in momentum. It's again up by 11% odd in today's trade. How would you look at these two stocks?
Well, Kernex Micro had a small intermediate correction. I believe it's set to resume its uptrend. We would need a weekly closing about 644, but I believe it has started the move towards that. So Kernex Micro looks interesting, and the other stock, could you please tell me?
All Cargo Logistics, actually it's the X date for the bonus issue of shares, and that's why you may be seeing the price difference coming in. And I wanted to just take a view on this one. It had set the January 2nd as the record date for bonus issue in the ratio of 3:1.
Okay, adjusted for bonus, the resistance comes in at 93.10, which was a high posted in November of last year, Sakshi ji. And we are going to give a breakout from this range, I believe. Yes, once again, we need a close about 93.10 for that. Once that happens, I believe we are heading towards 110. So setup is positive. Extreme near term, if the stock goes up from 67 to 91 in a matter of 13 trading session, I'd say I'd wait for a small cool off.
Okay. Vineet, one stock that I want your view on is Zomato, 2.5% higher at 127. The company has also increased platform fee to 4 rupees from 3 rupees now. What does that indicate? More profits coming in and it's on the right direction. Is it the right time to buy Zomato?
So we are very, very positive. In fact, yesterday we shot out a report with the top 10 stocks to buy in 2024, and Zomato makes the list. So we believe that higher take rates and December 31st spellbinding turnover is going to mean record profits in the coming quarter. I wouldn't be surprised if the stock trades above 140.
Okay, let's just widen our universe and look at what the broader markets are doing. At 9:21, we have the Nifty down 20 points, absolutely flat, doing nothing. Bank Nifty down 0.3%, doing nothing. IT index doing nothing. Let's look at what the broader markets are up to. I want to see the mid cap and the small cap index. Yes, this is where the trader feels happy. Nifty small cap index is up 0.4%, 15,283, and this is out of 100 shares, 61 are in the green. How about Nifty 500? Okay, 285 shares are in the green. We track 19 indices for you. Out of 19, 5, 6, 7 are in the red. Okay, as I had said, Nifty Pharma is the top performing index now, 17,102. Heyman, coming to you, the highest of high beta, Aurobindo Pharma, is at a fresh record high, 1106. Anything that catches your fancy in the pharma space apart from Aurobindo Pharma, and a view on Oro Pharma?
Okay, not much to add in terms of technical inputs, Mr. Bhatnagar. Oro Pharma is in a short, medium, long-term uptrend, has been for the last, I believe, a year or so, and shows no signs of stopping. Further upside seems like a cinch. Laura Slab, I already have a pick on that, about 340. Sorry, yeah, above, yes, above 440. We are already there. But the one which I think could be a pleasant surprise is Shipla. Shipla has been, this is the 6th month of a correction. I'd say 5 months, 2 trading sessions doesn't quantify for much. So 5 months of a correction coming in, and we formed a nice wave. It's between 1130 on the downside and 1278 on the upside. A breakout about 1278, which seems like a distinct possibility, unless and until the market misfires completely. I believe we would be above 1278. We would be heading towards 1350 and 1400. So I would say I have a clear conviction call on Cipla. It's not a very near-term call. I would say it's a probably 3 to 4 month call.
Okay. Vineet, your take on the pharma stocks? They are running away. Divis Labs as the top mover now, 2.2% higher at 4,003 now for Divis Laboratories, along with Glenmark Pharma, Oro Pharma. They're all moving in the F&O space as well. Cipla already spoken by Mr. Kapadia. Would you add to the list? Which is your top favorite here?
I think Glaxo Pharma is a very interesting story. They've recently had their analyst meet a couple of months back, and since then the stock has run away. I think it could be a very good play in the current markets.
Okay. The
Yeah,
others.
one of those rare performers. Yes,
Yes,
actually,
please,
please
Shail.
continue. Please continue.
Okay, Shail, just apart from the farmers
Yours.
and the space that I wanted to discuss is Lupin. With both Mr. Kapadia and Vineet, if I wanted to take one more view on the farmer space, because Lupin is again coming on the radar of Nomura. It's maintained a buy rating with a 1593 target price on this one. Would you be a buyer at this level on Lupin? Mr. Kapadia first, and then Vineet.
Yes and no. Yes, because it looks good and it's playing catch up. While Sun Pharma was basking in the glory, Lupin was hatching eggs, so to speak, and now it moves up for 11 months in a row. 11 months in a row. So I would say yes and no, because if I was buying, I'd probably buy 1/3 now and I'd buy 2/3 later if and when a correction comes in, because 620, 1372, 11 months, everything is extremely copacetic. We are probably heading somewhere to 1550 plus. But like I said, after 11 months in a row, if and when we correct, it could be slightly susceptible to a time price retracement. So I wouldn't go the whole hog. I would buy in bits and pieces, maybe some now, some on a decline.
Vineet?
Okay, let's
I
look at the
don't
Nifty
like.
Pharma Index. My apologies, Vineet, for interrupting. You don't track Lupin, is it?
Yeah, we don't track it.
Okay, okay. Let's look at the Nifty Pharma Index in totality. Sakshi, 20 stocks there, all 20 are in the green. And of course, the index is at a record high. And stocks within the pharma index that have hit a record high are Glaxo, Aurobindo Pharma, Sun Pharma, and Zydus Life. So a very strong momentum coming in as far as the pharma stocks are concerned. The top gainer, of course, Lupin 1371, 4.5% higher. Glenmark 3.7% higher, 887. Granules at 421 is 2.4% higher. Glaxo Divi's Labs and Aurobindo Pharma posting gains of anywhere between 1 and 2%. In terms of volume, Lupin is the top traded, 157 crores worth of transactions happening. Let's look at volume buzzers. Okay, now this is really interesting. Look at Lupin. We have 12 lakh shares that have been traded, and at about 9:27, which is 12 minutes into the trade, already the 5-day average volume is crossed, which is 12 lakh shares. Now this is really interesting. Heyman mentions the fact that over the last 6 months, consistently the stock has risen month on month, and at 1373, I remember an all-time high of 2500 on Lupin. But again, this is coming out of a very, very long bear market. So this price is the highest since 2017 of April. So that would make it a 6-year high, at least a 6.5-year high. And like I had mentioned, the all-time high on this one is 2132, way, way away. But as they say, that it's the intention that matters, and targets are then reached. Another high beta stock on this one that's moving fairly sharply is Natco Pharma, 828. So as you can see, the market, Sakshi and Heyman, I'd like your view here, that on the top side of Nifty, it's flat to consolidating. It's the sectors which are now getting into the churning of money. So pharma is moving in. Let's take Heyman's view on this one. Sectoral rotation happening fairly strongly as blue chips rest. Heyman, your view?
Yes, I think I totally. Maybe even something like an IT, which has had a very nice move. The longer term picture has definitely improved, no doubt. Whether we are riding on the back of Nasdaq or not, but IT has turned from a longer term point of view. But yes, now okay, I spoke about VSOP, but many of the stocks have risen handsomely. So, like you said, there would be sectoral rotation, and even within the sector, I believe there would be some churning as far as the outperformers and the performance are concerned. I think auto is one stock, is one sector which has done beautifully well. I believe it would do so, but there could be some small hiccups coming in as far as auto is also concerned. Once again, it's a blip in the sense it's, I would say, we would anticipate a correction in a bull market. The setup remains unequivocally positive.
Okay, let's shift a little bit gear and see how the pharma space is doing. The Nifty Pharma is at a record high level, and I can see a slew of stocks like Tata Consumer Products up 2% now, Dabur 0.7%. You also have Varun Beverages 0.3% higher, Colgate Palmolive, Nestle, all up in trade, Marico. And of course, apart from Tata Consumer, I also wanted to ask you on ITC, both Vineet and Himen, your views as well. Vineet, if you could first tell me about ITC, what you feel, because of course the company is now going to be focusing more on the cloud kitchen space as well. It's entering more cities now. The average order value for the cloud kitchen for ITC is 900 rupees, which is double that of the industry as well. So purely, of course, it's a big conglomerate and FMCG is just apart. How would you look at ITC and then Tata Consumer Products also that you can talk about?
I think that's a very interesting play that ITC is now getting into. It's proven itself with the way Zomato and Swiggy have, demonstrated earnings. So I believe that they have the necessary kitchens and they have the products there, ready to eat is part of their portfolio. and then expanding in that space is a logical outcome. So that's going to be very interesting. We continue to be positive on ITC, but we do not expect a significant re-rating to happen. We believe that it would be in course of its earnings, mostly a compounding story as we go out. Which was the other stock you mentioned?
Tata
Tata Consumer.
Consumer. Yeah.
I think Tata Consumer has rallied too far too fast, and we believe the stock will take a breather from here.
Okay, Sakshi, just a point to mention when you talk about the average size of the order from ITC's cloud kitchen being 900 rupees, यहाँ तो दाल बुखारा ही 900 रुपए की है, उसके साथ आप एक तंदूरी रोटी तो मंगाओगे, वो ही 250 रुपए की हो जाए. So, but point taken, you know.
That's true.
And there is a fight at home कि आपने एक ही दाल बुखारा क्यों मंगवाए, ये तो एक ही आदमी खा जाएगा. So quantity is less, and pricing is really out of reality as far as middle income homes are concerned. I know Heyman and Vineet especially is actually a very well known chef. Both are a bit puzzled about our talk on dal bukhara, but let me assure you, the dal bukhara available in Delhi on ITC is absolutely different the one that you eat in Mumbai at the Peshawar restaurant in ITC. So with that small quibble in mind, what we'll do is we'll take a very quick break, and on the other side of the break we'll discuss Deepak Fertilizers, because apart from the fertilizer space there is nothing much that's moving sectorally unless you take pharma. So Deepak Fertilizers, but on the other side of the way, and Heyman Bhai will give you a view on that one.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe from multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines and many other sectors.
In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-Risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today.
Welcome back on Market Today. The broader cash sector is abuzz with gains, volumes, price action and momentum. The blue chips segment is at the moment pausing, and let us see what is interesting to watch. Before the show started, before the opening started, Vineet had mentioned Deepak Fertilizers as one of his stocks that he'd be looking out as far as both price action and fundamental changes are concerned. 70310 in front of you. Heyman Bhai, first a view on what Deepak Fertilizers chart is telling you. It's had a massive steep correction from 1055 to about 554, now on its way up to 703. Your view, sir?
Two words, Mr. Bhatnagar. Mal lao.
क्या बात?
Rounding bottom, set a positive, above mechanically.
Sir, आगे भी तो कुछ होगा.
Yes, sir. I'm providing the logic for my Malao statement, sir. Rounding bottom, oscillators buy, finished a long correction, higher tops, higher bottoms, above important moving averages. It's ticking all boxes on the daily and weekly charts. I believe this is on the verge of converting into positives on the monthly chart also. So I would say looks good.
Your view, Vineet, on Deepak Fertilizers?
So, in 25 should see the resumption of their, expanded capacity on TAN. And that should be one of the biggest contributors to the top line. So we are very bullish on this counter. Even in a time period when the market did not do much in terms of Deepak fertilizer product prices, the stock has put in a good 30+% growth. Its low has been 650. From there, it's put on around 30%. And I think, this is the time when you buy the stock and hold it for some time. It may not give you quick returns, but you have to hatch Deepak fertilizers to get the gains, and I'm sure that the stock in the near future would be crossing its previous all-time highs.
Right. Okay. Very, very interestingly, in the FNO space, Shell, I think at least 6 names from the top are from the pharma space. Lupin, Glenmark Pharma, Granules, you have Biocon, and then you have Divis Laboratories. All 5 stocks from the pharma pack. It's turning out to be a healthcare day, just like how Shell was mentioning. And even on the Nifty 50 list, have the top 5 names, at least 4 of them are from the pharma pack. You have Divis, Dr. Reddy's, you have Sun Pharma and Cipla as among the top gainers of the Nifty stocks as well. I remember, Vineet, you also had mentioned Dr. Reddy's as one of your top picks earlier when we had spoken, I think about 3 months earlier, that you had talked about this stock as well, when it was again at record high levels too. What would your pecking order be in terms of the pharma majors? You talked about GlaxoSmithKline Pharma today, but top 2 or 3 stocks, what would those pecking orders be?
I will still go with Glaxo and maybe Divi's Laboratories and Suven Life Sciences.
Okay, okay. And Mr. Kapadia, on the charts, which is the strongest counter that you see from the pharma pack today?
Near term, I believe that would be Laurus Lab, Sakshi. Longer term, it would be Granules and Cipla.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Right. Another space that I wanted, beneath your view, is the mid cap and the small cap space. They're again running away, 0.2% higher, 0.5% gains coming in for the small cap 100 index, even though the benchmark Nifty is flattening out. Any particular picks that you have for the viewers from the mid and the small cap space, Vineet?
So we have just initiated coverage on Sadhana Nitro. It's a tiny cap, and it's not a tiny cap, it's 2,000 crores market cap. We believe that there's a very strong case for a turnaround out here. And there are several factors where the operational efficiencies can improve without too much growth in the top line. And in spite of that, we expect the top line also to, treble over the next 3 years. So they've done 147 crores in 23. We're expecting them to do 220 crores this year. Their half-yearly run rate is indicating that. Next year, with their expanded, PAP capacity and in-house production of MAP, will mean OBV2 will mean that the stock will do well. And 26, we expect them to do significantly well. So it's one of my wealth creation ideas, and I think it should do very well going ahead.
Vineet, which stock did you mention? I'm sorry, our PCR was unable to catch the name.
Sadhana Nitro.
Oh, Sadhana Nitrochem. Is it 92 rupees?
Yes.
That one.
Yes.
Okay. They're the makers of paracetamol, and that's one of the few little known stocks which have delivered supernormal returns over the last 5 odd years. Wasn't there a demerger or something of their subsidiary, if I'm not wrong?
No. So what they're doing right now is they're doing a rights issue at 120, while the stock price is around 92. And they're getting into green hydrogen manufacturing. So where we believe that they will provide the land and they will appoint a third party vendor who will do the electrolysis and hydrogenation. And they will be using this to produce PAP for the international markets when they will expand capacity beyond what they have right now. So that's going to come up in FY27. But it's a very strong company in terms of its product profile. They make PAP from nitrobenzene, which is only another company in the world that does it. And if they get the US certification to supply PAP to the US markets or paracetamol, they can get some very strong margins on their product. So if you were to hold this stock for a 3 to 5 year period, you're going to be sitting on some electrifying gains.
Okay.
Okay, the other logic is that, if I think Sadhana Nitro is only on the Bombay Stock Exchange, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's on the NSE as well. If the cash price in the market is 92 rupees, who would apply for a rights issue at 120, Vineet? Doesn't it defeat the logic?
Yes, it does
मैं बाजार
defeat
से ही
the
ले लूंगा.
logic. But you know what? I believe is that the management believes that the stock is underpriced currently. And, in the settlement would be for the rights issue would be in the fourth quarter. So, uh, we have met the management and we are quite convinced that there is business growth happening out here.
Okay, 9:42, ladies and gentlemen. Let's again reorient ourselves with the Nifty. It's now flat, 21,738. Remember, the low was 21,680. So, Sakshi, it's the fourth day that the low has been tested, which is 21,680, 21,677, 21,678, and today again 21,680. So this low is getting stronger and stronger, and from there the bounce looks to contain itself on its way up. Today is of course the day for the pharma space. As we had mentioned, the index is at a record high. It's the top gainer. All 20 stocks within the pharma space are in the green. Within the FNO, it's Aurobindo Pharma and Lupin that are leading the bull charge. And as far as record highs are concerned, they are Aurobindo Pharma, Glaxo, Sun Pharma, and Zydus Life. Joining the party is now the metal space. I see Hindustan Copper doing fairly well in the charts, decent volume coming in there. And of course, you have the likes of Hindalco, JSW Steel, all clicking on the green. Hemant bhai, seeing the market action that has happened over the last half an hour, anything that makes you enthusiastic about on the long side?
I believe OFSS is something which looks interesting. Oracle Finance, so okay, it's moved almost 4%, but this is something which looks good short term as well as positionally. We've had a decent correction. The longer term picture has turned positive. So OFSS, one second, it's not an intraday call, but the OFSS setup seems to indicate that we have good times coming ahead.
Okay. Well, on that note, thanks a lot, Mr. Kapadia, for sparing your time with us and sharing such wonderful stock ideas with all our viewers. Happy New Year again. And we shall touch base again to understand more about your stock picks and your market strategies going forward from here as well. To you, Vineet, on Coal India, I wanted to take a view. 387 currently, 1.4% higher in trade. Of course, Jeffries has come out with a report that's putting a target price at 450 for Coal India. It's been a stunning rally in 2023 for this energy major. How would you see it panning out now in 2024?
No, definitely, there's shortage of peak power, and that would mean more increased supplies of coal. And Coal India is one of the largest and possibly the only player in India with significant growth prospects. So I think Coal India will do very well, not only from the point of view of uh, volume growth, but also from value, given that they're doing a lot of washing of coal, as well as the fact that the prices of coal are going to trend higher.
Right. And extending this to the other energy majors, especially in the oil and gas space, since that's again been in momentum. We've seen, you already talked about HPCL, BPCL, and the multiples that they are trading at. But what about even the gas majors? Gujarat Gas, GAIL, MGL. We saw a lot of momentum even yesterday for these counters. Do you see there is potential for a long-term purchase at the current levels in any of these stocks?
So, two stocks that can do well out here are Gujarat Gas, because the propane prices have been raised. So when propane prices are raised, the switch happens towards CNG, and Gujarat Gas can benefit from that. And the other stock that we like is in the distribution space for LPG. Uh, that is, I'm not getting the name. I'm just forgotten the name. But when I remember it, I'll come back to you on that.
Okay. So for now, it's Petronet LNG and Gujarat Gas, you said.
This is
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Shell yours.
okay, Sakshi. Let's look at Coal India. Now, what is interesting here is that, of course, there was that Jeffries report that has increased the target on Coal India. I am really enthused with the fact that it's, of course, amongst the top gainers on the Nifty as well. But 47 lakh 54,000 is the volume so far. In fact, it's moving very, very sharply. And this is the third most active traded counter on the Nifty. Let's look at the Nifty 500 list. I'm sure, no, it's not even in the first five. Okay. Nevertheless, a fairly strong move coming in on Coal India at about 2.2% higher. I believe this will be a breakout of some proportion in terms of where the market is headed. And this is very, very interesting, Sakshi. This is the highest we've seen Coal India from August of 2015. So 5 plus 3 8. 8-year high, 8.5-year high that we are looking at. And of course, the all-time high is 445. Given the move, we are probably headed in that direction with the requisite checks and balances. But a strong trajectory opening up on Coal India. And of course, let me just try and get hold of that Jeffries report. I think I had it somewhere. Buy rating on Coal India, target raised to 450 from 425 per share. This is Jeffries coming in on metals. And we've seen, this is what Jeffries says, see 6 to 15% volume CAGR over FY24 to FY26 for Coal India. And the FY25-26 EPS estimates for Coal India are 19 to 21% above street estimates. Coal India is 7.3 times FY25 estimated PE and a 7% dividend yield. So this is what is coming through as far as the fundamentals of the company are concerned, and that enthuses Jeffries on Coal India. That's what we are tracking at the moment. What else is buzzing? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to point out one particular stock. Yes, it was BPCL. Remember, 2 days ago there was this news that the government might be raising dropping pump prices of diesel and petrol to the extent of 10 rupees per litre, and there was a massive sell-off there. But nice uptick today, 455.60. 9:50 a.m. Sakshi, what are you watching?
A lot of stocks which are buzzing in the Nifty 500 basket shell. So let me just bring out for you a few of those stocks as well and take Vineet's view on those. For example, data patterns, that's moving up 4% higher in trade today. There was another stock from the same list that was moving up. Vineet, do you track data patterns at all? What's causing this
Yes,
move here?
we do track it. I think that the valuations of all the stocks, defense stocks, are quite expensive. And so, we would be buyers on declines, not chasing the momentum.
Okay.
I think railways as a pack offers better risk reward than the defense stocks.
Okay, got that. But any particular target you have in mind for data patterns?
Our targets are a little lower from here, so
Acha, okay.
we're not.
Got that. Got that. And you were briefly mentioning about the fertilizer space as well. Of course, the whole pack is moving up again today. Any particular top stock from this space that you have?
So we've spoken about Deepak Fertilizers. I
Yeah.
think another stock that could be on the lookout should be Coromandel Fertilizers. I think that it's a slow mover, but there's substantial triggers there in the long run. So we like that also.
Okay, fair enough. From the Nifty pack, let me ask you one view on Bajaj twins, Bajaj Finance and Bajaj Finserv. After a long time, they've started to show some move on the Nifty space. How are you placed on these two major stocks for this entire year?
I think Bajaj Finance should do really well. Vis-a-vis Bajaj Finserv, we still would like to see more traction come out there in terms of the insurance business. But we definitely think that Bajaj Finance can do very well from current levels.
Okay, let's look at the other part of the market and pay attention to Lemon Tree. Sakshi, I believe there is a report that's come in from, I may be mistaken, but
Motilal
let's just
Oswal.
not take
Motilal
the
Oswal
name of a
Financial
brokerage.
Services.
Nevertheless, yes, okay. Okay, the target mentioned there is 150. That doesn't mean that 150 is coming over the next 1 hour or so. But I just wanted to mark the price action that's fairly strong. 129 in front of you, and the volume is fairly strong. About a crore 56 lakh shares have already been traded. This is the highest since September 2nd of 2023. So a breakout on volume as far as 3-month prices are concerned, and
Guys, I need to go.
of course a record high on Lemon Tree. Any one of us has tried to book a hotel on December 31st will know the reason behind this very sharp uptick. 9:53. Vineet, thank you so much for your time, and again a very warm wishes for the new year to your team, yourself, and everyone in the family. We hope that 2024 brings as much cheer to all investors as 2023 did.
Thank you and wish you all the same.
Thank you. Right. Shail, a lot of stocks that are buzzing.
Let's get
I
back
wanted
to where price
ask.
action is, Sakshi.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what I was coming to. A lot
Please go
of
ahead.
buzzing. From the mid-cap space, I wanted to just throw a few names for all our viewers also to take. Of course, Mankind Pharma, we forgot, from the pharma pack that we were discussing so widely. And Mankind Pharma, recently listed stock, has performed very well. Even in today's trade, it's up by about 5% in trade. Of course, follows it Gland Pharma, 3% higher. Lupin is up, Biocon is up. So it's the entire pharma pack. Oro Pharma, you already mentioned. Laurus Labs was mentioned by Hemen Kapatia also as one of his picks in today's trade. So these stocks are moving in. Syngene is moving very sharply as well in trade. Of course, apart from this, some of the retail stocks are moving, like Aditya Birla Fashion. That's coming back into focus, 2.5% up in trade as well. Apart from this, we're also looking at, like how you were talking about the new age tech stocks. So we've discussed Zomato, we discussed Policy Bazaar yesterday. It's delivery that's coming up in trade today, 1% higher in trade for this one as well. Apart from this, we're also looking at some of the stocks again from the real estate pack now. That's moving up. You can see Prestige Estates, 1.5% higher in trade. Godrej Properties, 1% higher in trade as well. So these are some of the other real estate majors that are also moving in trade. So but the Nifty is like slightly sluggish, just about 0.1, 0.2% lower in trade. But it's the subsectors that are actually showing a lot of momentum, and many stocks that are actually moving with sharp gains in the space today, Shell.
Yes, Sakshi, as we've mentioned in our opening commentary, that Nifty and Bank Nifty will go through a consolidation phase. That's simply because, the run-up has been so sharp. So if 21,680 is not broken on the downside, and I am repeatedly telling you that this is the fourth consecutive day that this low has been tested. In fact, it's getting tested even now, and let's hope it holds, but looks thinning out. 21,676 in front of you. Let us see. The first support level is 21,670 on an intra basis on the Nifty. Let's hope for the best, Sakshi. But there is a bout of profit booking that's due, and you can see it on how sharply prices have just flipped on the other side. One interesting thing would be to notice the advanced decline ratio at this point of time. Remember, it started very strongly, and still better, 1153 in the green, 810 in the red. But we'll remember this, the Nifty is now down 77 points, ladies and gentlemen, at 21,661. So not only is the first support being broken, also the 3-day low 21,680 has now been taken out. It's a sharp sell-off that's happening. So the continuation theme of yesterday's half an hour of sales seems to be accelerating. 21,646, and every price tick that you see is now on the side of red. Sakshi.
Absolutely. So on the Nifty, we just have about 12 odd stocks that are in the green now. Rest of the stocks have slipped into the red. Sharp decline coming in on Ultratech Cement, that's down 2.5%. Eicher Motors, M&M, Hero Moto, also down in trade. So it's the auto stocks that are taking the knock. And also the banking stocks like Kotak Mahindra Bank is down in trade. We also have ICICI Bank that's down in trade now. Of the IT majors, Tech Mahindra, Infosys, Heavyweight Counters, LTI Mindtree, all down in trade also. And Asian Paints and L&T, the other heavyweight counters that are down by over 1% on the Nifty. Sectorally speaking, barring the healthcare, the oil and gas index, which is also flattening out now, rest of the sectors have all slipped into the red. So only 1% gain stays on healthcare. Rest of the sectors are all slipping away. So you are actually seeing sharper profit booking as we wind down this opening session today. Autos, ITs, consumer durables, banking names, financial services, private banks, all down in trade to the tune of 0.6% to 0.9% in the Nifty 500 basket. Of course, here too, you're seeing a lot of losses now coming in, just about 20 to 30 names into the green on my screen. Rest of them have slipped. In fact, the losses coming through on stocks like Dixon Technologies, IEX, Castrol, Ashok Leyland. You also have Infibeam Avenues down 2.5% or so. What's holding up in the Nifty 500? All Cargo Logistics, Alembic Pharma, Glenmark Life Sciences, Gujarat State Fertilizers, GlaxoSmithKline, Data Patterns. These are the top 5 movers. Equino Space, you're seeing Lupin, Glenmark, Granules, Oracle Financial Services, that was mentioned by Mr. Kapadia, and Biocon, Aditya Birla Fashion. These are the names that are still holding up, but rest of the sectors and stocks showing sharp bout of profit booking. Share.
Yes, Sakshi, 9:59, time to wrap this up. Between the time we started discussing this fall, which was around 676, 21,676 on the Nifty, it's slipped further, another 40 points, so 21,634. The second support level is at 21,600. Remember, Sakshi, we had mentioned this potential dip in our early morning commentary. And I had said that on the options chain, somewhere like 21,550, 500 has opened up. Let us see whether that comes or not. But for the moment, it's a bit of a slip, and that's fine. It essentially means that the people who have made supernormal money over the last 2 months on the Nifty alone are now booking some profit. It allows newer, stronger, and younger and nimbler hands to come into the market, and that is how life continues as far as stock markets are concerned. Sakshi, we'll be back at 2:30 discussing a lot more, including the pharma space, which is buzzing with gains and record highs. Over to you.
Absolutely, Shail. Right now, Sensex down by 0.5%, 71,922. The Nifty also down by about 0.5% at 21,630. Currently, the Nifty Bank right now is seeing a cut of 0.6% odd at 47,931. These are the major indices for you right now. We'll wrap it up at that. Do stay tuned with us on Business Today Television as we continue to track more market momentum for you and help you understand how to navigate your moves and strategies as far as stock markets are concerned. So do stay tuned with us. Many thanks for watching.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe for multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines, and many other sectors.
In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-Risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today.
The air is thick with the scent of wood. Logs undergoing metamorphosis. Each timber carries a